Hey, welcome back to the channel, All Things Business. Tonight, this is our reunion for episode and season number 4, excuse me. And we're so excited. We got a few people came back. A couple people could not make it, but that's okay. The show must go on anyway. And I'm excited about having Miss Lori Holbrook in the studio, waiting in the green room to come on here and join us. Lori Holbrook, are you there?
I'm here.
Well,
Hi.
great. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, folks, real quickly, if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification to be alerted when new things come out, as well as leave a comment in the box below. We love comments. And also, we got in the green room coming out is her husband, Mr. Don Holbrook. Don, are you there, buddy?
I'm here.
All right, great. We just want to hear your voice. All right, great. Glad having you on here. We've got one or two more will be joining us, but we're going to get this kicked off right now. Hey guys, we want to thank you first of all for being on the show, and you guys got a lot of like a couple thousand, 4,000 or 5,000 each, and we thank you for that, and thank you for your time and being dear friends. A couple questions I want to ask you since we did the last recording. What advice would you give some people who are just starting off in their own journey in the field or things that they're involved with? What advice would you give? Laura, we'll start with you first.
Advice on career, you mean?
Yeah, what kind of advice would you give somebody who's starting off in their own journey, in a new journey in a field, whatever that may be for them?
So right now, having that discussion with my 22-year-old, and I'm telling him to gather his thoughts on what he wants to do every day of his life, because a job is a job, but if you love what you do, it's not a job, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he's really into sports, and my advice to him is to intern wherever he can and get his foot in the door any way he can with regards to that. So stick to your not to your hobby, but to your passion. That's what I would
That's
say.
a good answer. That is really good. Don?
Yeah, that's right out of my book. So I'm joking with her. I would say follow your passion with a caveat, and your passion has to create enough economic vitality for you to be able to afford the lifestyle that you want, and be realistic about what lifestyle you really want, and choose something that actually can do so accordingly.
Okay, very good. Very good. Let me ask you this, Lori. Since the show, what's been your most proudest personal or professional achievement since the show, since we had you on about a month ago? I
Gosh,
think I'll smile on your face. Look at her.
She survived the cookie line on the Bermuda cruise.
oh yeah, I did cruise. I guess that did happen since I was on the last show. That was all right. It was all right. I mean, it was fun because I was with my husband, but the cruise ship was just okay.
Yeah.
I think that would probably be it. And I'm really excited. My younger son's moving home. So,
Okay, great. Don?
Well, I would say had a great time in New York at the Russian Tea Room. If you've never done that, that's a great thing. Very fun, solid gold roof, really cool. But probably just having my buddy come in to visit me, and we went to the Major League playoff games with the Reds and the Dodgers. So, just live life to the fullest. Just take it one day at a time, and adjust whenever you get an opportunity. These things pop up and you just go do it. I saw my old principal from high school yesterday. We just happened to stop in LA and see him, and we hadn't seen him in 50 years.
Wow, that's amazing. Man,
and
50 years.
he's
Yep.
done
What was that, Lori? What was that, Lori?
he's done more exciting things than me, and we live together.
Well, wait. You guys just got back from a cruise. Tell us about the cruise you guys just got back from, the Virgin Cruise. Tell us about the
Yeah,
cruise.
it was interesting, Al. Not quite what we thought it was going to be, but we made
Don, look at Lori's turning red over there. Don, what did you say about the cruise? How'd you like the cruise?
Well, New York Virgin is a great ship. It's very stable. Never felt anything. You never got any seasickness. Great food. The crew is
Yep.
amazing. The food is 5-star Michelin, restaurants and everything, and really a good time. If you go out of New York, just remember that New York is a party port. So the people on that boat are in there to party. And it was, let's see, we had a very diverse group of people. And our host was quite interesting. He was about, or she was about 7 foot tall. And we never knew what we were going to get there. And then at night, I can just tell you that I went to get, they had cookies up till midnight and you could go get cookies. And so I got in line to go get cookies for us and our couple friends we had. And it was about midnight and these three very large, rotund women got in front of me, right out of the Sunday mall where they go looking for shoes on Sunday after church. And I used to sell them shoes, by the way. And they got up there, and these three women got up to the cookie counter, and there's about 80 cookies left, 40 oatmeal and 40 chocolate chip. And then one lady leans over to the other one. She says, "I'm feeling a little bit peckish, little peckish." And they took the entire two trays of 80 cookies between three ladies. And I was the next one in line, and there was zero cookies. And that little girl behind me looked at me and she said, "I'm so sorry, sir. We close at midnight." And I said, "Yeah, I just wanted a cookie for each of my friends here, four." And she went back in the back and she pulled four fresh cookies out for tomorrow and brought them to me. And I said, "Yeah, thank you." Cause I was feeling a little bit peckish too. And I took those back and told, and so the whole cruise, everybody joked about being peckish, but you had to really get in line quick. Cause I'll tell you what, if the larger crowd got in front of you, I mean, larger size wise got in front of you, they could clean out everything in front of you. I mean, you really needed to learn how to go through buffet lines and stuff. So it was a survival and thriving and surviving at the same time. So I've been in a new world called thrival, thriving and surviving.
So I guess you would say that
And
the crowd on there was very eclectic.
Oh, I would say so.
very,
Very
Go ahead, Lori.
I just want to be careful what I say, so maybe I shouldn't say anything at
There
all.
you go. Okay.
Oh, Lori had a great time. She made all kinds of friends. She can make friends anywhere.
Yeah. Well, what about you? Did you make some
I
new
did.
friends?
Oh, and the pineapple line with all the
Wait,
different sliced pineapples and everything was just amazing.
So we met these two gals. They were great. They were there. It was actually a cruise for.
Oh, she froze.
You want me to
Hello?
take over for that one?
Am I
There
here?
you go.
No,
There you go.
no.
There we go. You're back.
I gotta come back.
Lori makes friends everywhere, Al.
Yeah.
She never met anybody she didn't like.
Yeah. She never met a stranger. Let me ask you this question. There she is. Go ahead, dear. Go ahead and complete your
No, I was saying that it was a cruise for travel agents. So we learned a lot about the industry and made some great friends and took pictures, and yeah, that part was fun. And like Dawn said, this ship was super stable, never got seasick. I would recommend the cruise line on based on that.
Yeah. Yeah. I love the food too. I think the food was first class, Michelin. I think there was one or two Michelin guys on there. I mean, it was amazing. Amazing food. I mean, quality. I love my room was nice with a nice balcony. Turn the light on and open the door and the lights came on, the drapes open up. I love that part. Let me ask you this. What did the show, since we did the show, impact your personal life or professional life in any way at all? Since we did the show a month ago? Go ahead.
So I had a lot of people, even though Don says I didn't promote it, a few people saw it. And a lot of people were like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't realize you were that natural on camera," and I don't think they realized I had my own like little TV show for 6 years. But it's a lot of people are reaching out to me that are just coming across it and complimenting me and you and how the show went and how natural, how we flowed.
Yeah.
They asked how long I knew you, and I said, "Oh, our kids, we talked about that, right? We met a long time ago," but they said that the chemistry there was super good.
Yeah, it was. It was great. It was a great show. Great show. And I know you guys are competing who gets more views than each other. So, Mrs. Dawn, you want to comment on that a little bit? How did the show impact you personally or professionally, life, and did you expect
Well,
anything?
I mean, people always enjoy seeing interviews about, they always learn little tidbits that maybe I never tell them in real life because I said a few things for you that I didn't tell anybody else. But I would say it always draws interest in, like your books and I would say I had a few more inquiries about writing books and some other stuff, but it's just people personally interested in kind of the how do you start your own book, how do you start your first book, how do you publish it, what people make a lot of assumptions about writing that they really don't need to, and I think from the show they got the idea that maybe it's not such a daunting thing. It's still hard to get a hit, but you know, I think a lot of people got interested in maybe exploring their own ideas.
Now,
Okay, good.
Al, I did have people reach out to me on Facebook and like message me and ask questions, and they were intrigued. A lot of them said they didn't know different things. I had a couple people ask me for referrals on timepieces. One lady wanted an appraisal. So I found that interesting. People found me, and I forgot about that, and were messaging me on Messenger.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear because we have our audience over in India, Pakistan, London, UK, Mexico, Canada, and United States as well. So we got people, even Japan, are taking us up. So that's great. Let me actually ask this question, Lori. Let me ask you this: if you had to describe your time on the show in one word, what would that be and why?
Delightful.
Oh, okay. And why?
I just felt like the whole show was uplifting. It was delightful. It was fun. It was light. I got to share and be me. I felt it. Maybe that's not the right word, but that was the first word that came to mind.
That's good. Well, you guys are both husband and wife. You're both entrepreneurs, which is really special. And people need to hear more from entrepreneurs, especially people who've been around a few years, seasoned in the business they're doing, and have insight that can help other people. So, same question, John. If you had to describe your time on the show in one word, what would that be and why?
Savory,
Huh?
savory,
Savory. And why?
because it's a better word than delightful. No, I'm just joking. Because it made people stew on different things that maybe they had thought about that they wanted to explore, and so savory just came to mind.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you. Let me ask you this, Lori. What one thing you wish you would relive from the original experience? What thing would you like to relive from the original experience on the first podcast?
The first one, the live one
Yeah,
that we
because I know
um
people always think after the show we cut it like, oh, I should have said this, oh, I should have said that.
yeah, well, I did. One of my colleagues actually, I sent it to him and he was like, "Oh, you should have mentioned XYZ." Because I was talking about, different products, and he was saying I should have mentioned the Atmos clock that we have and things like that. And I was like, "Oh yeah, that was a good idea."
Tell us about the Apple's clock.
So the
Since you didn't
brand,
get a chance to mention it.
sure, the brand Jaeger LeCoultre, we make a clock that is the closest thing to the perpetual motion on the market. And it can store 3,000 years of energy. All you have to do is have a 1 degree Celsius change within like the day. It'll power it 2 days. So it'll store actually 3,000 years of energy.
Wow.
Closest thing to Leah Da Vinci's quest for perpetual motion.
Wow, that's amazing.
No human intervention. You set it, you level it, you turn it on, you walk away, and it regulates itself. And yeah, it's pretty darn cool.
It'd be even cool if you could be around that long to see it last to its entirety. What's your answer?
Okay.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess since there's so many people that are interested in doing a book, I would tell them go on Amazon. If you look me up on Amazon and find the book that kind of walks you through how to do it. I have an ABC of how to write your own book that I put out, and I put it out at cost, so I don't make anything on it, but it's just to help people, learn about how to get their first idea and a book published. And I think that maybe they would be appreciative of that. I did it because I get so many questions about it. So I probably should have said something about that on the first show so that they can go get that book, and it'll tell them everything I know about publishing, how much you should pay for stuff, how you do it, how do you do the blueprint, how you lay out your chapters. I mean, all the different. I mean, you can go for hours on how to write a book. I mean, and that book helps. That book would probably be the most helpful for them to learn. And then after you've read that book, then ask me questions, because they'll be much more intelligent questions, and I can keep it within a shorter time period and not have to go on. But I probably should have said more about that on the first show.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't figured out by now, if you haven't watched the previous episode, Lori's in the high-end watch business, and Don, her husband, is also an author and a publisher of books, and is working on another one right now. And Well, I'm sure he'll tell us about what he's working on in just a second here. Let me ask you guys this question: if you could go back in time and give your past self some advice during the show, what would that be? Lori?
Wait, past advice about what I should have done?
Yeah, if you could go back in time and give your past self some advice during the show, what would that be?
I don't know. Can Don go first?
Sure, Don can go first. He's always witty.
Well, I don't know. I guess I would say I don't really know, Al. I'd probably say, like I said, maybe just focus on what makes you happy and what's going to make enough money to make you happy. I mean, I think we get a lot of really soapbox advice from people on being happy in life, and I think sometimes it's one thing to be passionate about what you do and everything, but you got to make sure that it makes enough economic opportunity to take care of you the way you want to live. And I think I would tell people to also be realists about money.
Okay, thank you. That's a good answer. We're going to Miss Lori, and then we're going to introduce our another guest that just joined us, Mr. Anthony Quire just joined us. So we'll talk to you in just a second, Mr. Quire. So Lori, you want to ask? You got time to? Have you thought through it?
Well, I guess I'm talk about my past self. Like if I had written a note to myself when I was 15, I'm going to go there. I would to take more chances early on and pretty much do what I did, follow my passions. So that would be it.
Okay, okay. Well, everybody, I just want to welcome my dear friend, Mr. Anthony Quire in. He's, I don't know if he's in Louisiana today or what, but he owns 10 different mobile home parks. He's also owned a few subways, I think 3 or 4 subways, and he's just Dunkin' Donuts just came to him. He's opened up 3 of those now. So he's an entrepreneur and been knowing him for many, many years and got him started in business. And we've been dear friends since. So Mr. Anthony Quire, 8 subways. I'm sorry. Thank you. 8 subways. Mr. Quire, good evening. How are you doing, sir?
Good evening. God is good, and just thankful for another day. And again, thankful just hearing y'all speak about opportunities and how important our lifestyle. And there's a different amount of money, but the key is setting goals. I've a lot learned from you. Jim Rome talks about we can work at 9 to 5, but that 5 to 9 is working on yourself and your own dreams. So that's what really I learned from business and network marketing, and learned that person development key, and really setting a mark, whether it's whatever amount it's comfortable, because I know, what's comfortable for me in the South, and I'm in North Carolina, is going to be a lot different lifestyle than someone lives in California, right?
Yeah.
Because of the cost of what it costs to live. So I've just learned that, I want to live within my means, and I can do more, but I've learned that I want to give and help others more, and God will bless me in the
Oh, yeah.
process.
Yeah, I've been watching your growth. We've been knowing each other for many, 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 many years, and I'm so proud of you doing a great job out there. I'm going to start off since you just jumped on here. I'm going to go with you first, and then go to Miss Lori, and then Mr. Don can answer this. If you're behind the scenes about, let me actually know, what's the most challenging aspect of being part of the show since you've been on here?
The challenging aspect, it's just, I think, looking at it from the standpoint of the letting people understand that they see us as successful, but it takes a lot of faith and determination, and it takes the work behind the scenes, that people really don't see. I told someone the other day I was working on a loan for a refinance, trying to get it to a finish line of 1.4 million. They're working on the refinance, and then another hand, I was just signed loan documents for a SBA loan for the subways that we need. Just getting a loan to refinance some stuff on that. So that's the behind the scenes. I've sent all the documents. I just was working on converting a PDF for taxes and send over, and I got all this stuff. And that's the behind the scenes that it takes, in business, that, what is normal to us is abnormal to most. And because you operate on such a high level, and I don't think I don't even comprehend sometimes. People's like, well, how, I was like, it's normal to me. So this is just what we do, right?
Yeah.
But it's not normal to most people. So that's what I've had to really come to now in what I'm doing and helping other people become entrepreneurs. And it's not easy, but it's very worth it. And God knows our hearts and sees what we try to do to help others. So I really want to commit it to helping others succeed as well as myself.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I know you're very. Thank you for that, Miss Lori. What was the most challenging aspect of being part of the show, either on or off screen?
Being part of your show, there really a lot of challenges. I
It was a lot of
prepared.
fun.
I prepared myself for the other ones to talk about, the business and kind of piggybacking off of what he said. When you're in the industry that I'm in, people can't fathom spending the amount of money on taxes that my clients do. And so, and I think I mentioned this before, don't look at the numbers, just sell what the client wants. But a challenging thing today is I can't think. Like I'm sitting here, you're asking me these questions. You the question ahead of time.
Well, the reason why I'm coming this way tonight, the three of you, because there are a lot of people around the world looking up to, here's an author, successful author. Here's a successful lady who sells high-end watches in a man's industry, if you would say, who's very successful in your own right because you're an ambassador at your company. And here's Mr. Anthony Quire, who's also an entrepreneur with all his accolades and business investments going. So I want to that's why they call it all things business, because I've taken aspects of entrepreneurs from everybody's different facets and had them people share, because honestly, a lot of people that are watching tonight and going to be watching this don't have a chance to talk and pick your brains, Miss Lori, or Don's brain, or Mr. Anthony's brain, Mr. Quire. So we want to hear from you guys, and that's why I'm taking these little parts away, because they don't have a chance to have an audience that meet the caliber people you guys are. So that's why I'm kind of going a little different route tonight. Okay. So Don, let me ask you this: what things are if you were to talk to your young self and give your young self advice at this point in your life, what would you tell your young self about yourself? What would you change differently?
I probably wouldn't have turned down that date with Bo Derek, but I'm joking. What I would tell myself is pretty much how I've always practiced, Al, and that is that you, if you're sitting still, if you're not moving, you're sinking. So you got to keep moving. You got to keep moving towards goals. You got to have goals. You can't get stuck in the 9 to 5 in the rut, and you got to constantly adapt. And a great piece of advice for people right now is everybody. We talked about this, and everybody's terrified about AI. Well, you better learn AI because it ain't going away.
Yeah.
So you better learn how to use it, and you better learn how to profit from it. Better learn how to manage it. Better learn how to create tools and resources that you are useful. And if you wanted to make a lot of money in the last few months, you should have bet on it because it's up about 350%. So I always tell people, don't be afraid of change. Change is just progress. You can't stick your head in the mud. You got to learn it. I mean, I had to learn all about AI recently, and I'm telling you that if you're stuck in the mud, you're sinking, and it's over. You got to keep moving. You got to keep moving with things, and you got to stay up with the times.
Yeah, that's so true. It's said that over 300 million. Let me say it again. Over 300 million people will be affected and losing jobs in the next 18 to 24 months worldwide. 300 million exactly because of AI. So if you don't, there's a song by the Blackbirds talking about time is moving on. If you don't get with it, you get left behind. And that's exactly what you're saying. I totally agree. Mr. Anthony Quire, what would you say about that? As far as what would you tell your younger self, now that you've been experienced a little bit, what would you tell your younger self if you could go back and say something to yourself?
I would tell my younger self to, continue to stay steadfast, as again that we live in a evolving, changing world. So we have to learn to evolve with time. There's a lot of technology, AI, and it takes the faith just to look at people.
All right.
If they can own this,
Your internet, sir, is kind of going out a little bit.
they're not going to outwork me. Look, I almost. I knew I was created to be.
Mr. Choir, your internet's kind of fading out, sir. You kind of frozen.
In business, and it's going to be. And
I think he figured it out at that point. So we'll get him back on and finish that. I was just getting ready to send him a text real quick. So with that said, now you guys were into the holiday season. What are your plans over the holiday season? And what, is there any family plans, or are there more cruises in the makes, or?
There's no,
Whatever she wants.
we're looking at back to my dad's. I was there for a month and going back for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and then January we may be going to Hawaii, and February I'm going to Italy.
Mhm.
So we're planning ahead. We're already past.
All right. Now, we've got a lot of young people and people from different ages across the world watching this tonight. And they're contemplating going in business. And what would you say to encourage somebody on the path of their dreams, goals, desires, to whatever that may be for them, whatever business that may be for them? What would you tell those people? What would you say to them, Lori? And then Don, what would you say?
Well, our older son right now is in his own business, right? And he lives. And we tell him, follow your heart. And I like what the gentleman on the call said. Everybody has their own thought of what their means to survive, to make enough to do. And the older son just wants to create a business and be happy, go lucky over in Europe, right? So I would say, again, just follow your heart. Make sure you pick something that you're good at, you love, because you're going to do it for a long time, unless you change jobs.
Would
So-
that even be as far as even being passionate about it? Would that also
have
be? Yeah, great.
Yes, for sure.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Don?
Well, I would say, that my dog wants to talk, but no, I would say that I'm not big on that. I mean, you got to follow what you think is interesting to you and keeps you interested, but you got to adapt and change. You're not going to be in the same job 10 years from now. If you are, something's wrong. I mean, you're gonna have to adapt and modify yourself. I mean, we reinvent ourselves. I've reinvented myself 4 times, and I think you have to just be open to change. That change is an opportunity, not an obstacle. And what everybody's griping about is probably what you ought to be getting into.
Very good. Very good. All right. As we wrap up this session today, there's Mr. Anthony Choir. All right. Let's see if the internet's doing there in the Carolinas. Yes, sir. Can you hear us okay?
back. Yes, I can hear you. Hear me?
All right. Yes, sir. We can hear you fine. Let me ask you a question. We were talking about what would you tell your younger self if you went back and as you are now? What would you tell your younger self that you do differently now that you've had the years under your belt? What would you say to your younger self?
Like I was telling you, I'd just say, to look back and reflect on, the gifts that you have that God has given you, is to really be a reflection of, how times change, people change. And I told somebody, I said, sometimes our message in what we're doing, but the methods and way we're reaching people, because I know now that we're changing from, reaching the baby boomers, right? We're reaching the millennial, the new generations, the X, the Alpha. So
Okay.
the way
Mr. Choir, your internet's still kind of a little spotty there, sir. I don't know. Can you hear me okay? So let's do this. The wrap up. Yeah, you're kind of a little spotty there. Let's wrap up this call tonight by asking everybody a few words of closing. What would that be for you, Miss Lori Holbrook?
Why do I always got to be first?
All right, Don Holbrook, go first. Give us a few words in closing, sir.
I would say always keep moving forward, always look over the horizon, and never limit yourself in your liabilities, and don't let anybody tell you what you can and can't do. Set your own, your own parameters.
Yeah. That's one thing I can say about Mr. Don Holbrook. He's always positive, always upbeat, always got great outlook for people. And he's always hoping and wishing people will follow their heart. And not only that, but he wished them always well. So I thank you for that, my friend. You're amazing. You're amazing, buddy. Miss Lori Holbrook.
So it made me think about a mentor that I had. So I always figure out a way to make it happen. Always yes. If you ask, always say yes. Even if no is like in the back of my mind, I will say, yes, I will figure that out. And I'll say, yes, I'll figure that out. Or for my, we'll figure it out. So I never take no for an answer.
I love it. Yeah, you guys are both successful in your own right. Mr. Anthony Quire, what would you say to our closing out our call tonight? What kind of advice would you give the people out there? Give me an idea. What would you tell them? In closing,
I would tell people you have to persevere and you have to have a no quit attitude in business and life. You can't quit. I tell people that I'm too young to stop, but I'm too,
all right.
always started.
Sir, we're still having a challenge with your. We're still having a challenge with your internet. Why don't we do this? Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't heard him tonight, go back on the channel here and look up Anthony Quire. And he did an amazing talk, a couple talks for us. That's amazing. So on the channel, let's go back on the channel and look for it. And he was in this month's series as far as this season for the reunion. We couldn't get him as well as we want to, but we thank him for attempting to do that. So ladies and gentlemen from around the world, we want to thank you all for being on the call tonight. If you haven't, please subscribe, leave a comment below. We ask you also, if you could, send this out to 7 or 8 people and watch a blessing come back your way. So with that said, I want to thank Miss Lori Holbrook tonight, Don Holbrook tonight for joining, and Mr. Anthony Quire. We thank you, sir. We're sorry we couldn't get, but I told people to go back on the channel and watch your story. Your amazing conversation we had about all his investments he's got going and how he started to parlay it into where he's at today. Ladies and gentlemen from around the world, we want to thank you for joining us tonight. This is the reunion for the 4th season, and we thank everybody tonight. We thank those that couldn't make it. We thank you all for around. So take care. God bless it always. We'll see you at the top. We'll see you over the top. Have a blessed evening. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.